celebrate the year-long birth centenary from March 17, 2020 to March 17, 2021. The Premier stressed the need for not limiting the celebration to only Dhaka and big cities of the country, so the people could be imbued with the spirit of liberation war and extend their hands in building Bangladesh as a respected country in the world. There should be a realistic strategy on how the life and works of Bangabandhu would be projected to the next generation in a proper manner, so that they can get encouragement to engage themselves in welfare of the nation, following Bangabandhu's ideals, she mentioned. The Prime Minister requested all concerned to concentrate on not making the birth centennial celebration of Bangabandhu a mere formality. She also suggested involving all the pro-liberation parties, social and cultural organizations and all other bodies, including educational institutes, in the birth centenary celebration. The Prime Minister reiterated her commitment to building a Sonar Bangladesh, freeing from hunger, poverty and illiteracy as dreamt by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. National Professor Dr. Anisuzzaman was present on the dais. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chowdhury, Chief Justice Syed Mahmood Hussain, former Finance Minister A.M. Muhid, and Birth Centenary Celebration National Implementation Committee President National Professor Rafiqul Islam also spoke on the occasion as members of the committees. Former Principal Secretary Dr. Kamal Abdul Nasir Chowdhury conducted the meeting. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chowdhury has said, women empowerment is now visible in all sectors in Bangladesh because of the steps taken under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She said this when Indian High Commissioner Riva Ganguly Das called on her at the Parliament office today. Noting that Bangladesh is now a role model of development in the world, Speaker said, under the leadership of Prime Minister, the country has got recognition for graduating to a developing country from the least developed countries, LDCs. Terming Bangladesh as India's one of the important friendly countries, the Indian envoy said, cooperation will continue between the two neighboring nations over the issues of mutual interests. Health and Family Welfare Minister Jahid Malik has said, updated medical system has decreased tuberculosis patient remarkably and research is continuing for further development. He was addressing as chief guest at the annual conference of National Anti-Tuberculosis Association of Bangladesh, NATAB, in Dhaka today. Chaired by NATAB President and Awami League Advisory Council member Muzaffar Hussain Pultu, the program was also addressed among others by Director of National Tuberculosis Control Program Shamimul Islam. I beg your pardon, Shamiul Islam. Health Minister said, along with the various development activities in the country during last 10 years, the health services has been also reached the people's doorstep.
The High Court has ordered Shuprabhat Poribahun to give 10 lakh taka compensation to the family of Abrar Ahmed Chowdhury within 1 week. Abrar was crashed by one of the bus of Shuprabhat Poribahun yesterday. A High Court division bench comprising Justice Muhammad Nazrul Islam Talukdar and Justice K.M. Hafizul Alam passed the order today after hearing on a writ filed in this regard. Meanwhile, Dhaka North City Corporation has taken initiatives to construct a foot-over bridge at Norda area on Pragati Sharoni after the name of Abrar Ahmed Chowdhury. Mayor Atikul Islam Chowdhury laid foundation stone of the foot-over bridge today. He said reckless driving will not be tolerated in the capital. On the occasion, DMP Commissioner Asaduzzaman Mia said none can run any kinds of transport without license. He said license and route permit of the bus which crashed university student Abrar have already been cancelled. In the afternoon, Mayor Atikul Islam assured the students to implement their 10-point demand within shortest possible of time. Following the assurance, the students postponed their agitation program. The bypass surgery of ailing Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Ubaidul Qadir was done successfully at Mount Elizabeth Hospital in Singapore today. Director of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University, Dr. Abu Nasser Rizvi, said this. Cardiothoracic surgeon at Mount Elizabeth Hospital and senior teammate of the medical board formed for Ubaidul Qadir's treatment, Dr. Srivastava Kumaraswamy, conducted the surgery. Family members of Ubaidul Qadir sought dua from the countrymen for early recovery of the Awami League General Secretary. Today is the 6th death anniversary of former president and veteran politician Mohammad Zillur Rahman. He died on this day in 2013. His death anniversary was observed through different programs. To mark the day, central leaders of Bangladesh Awami League paid rich tributes by placing wreaths at his graveyard at Banani this morning. They stood in solemn silence for some time and offered dua seeking eternal peace of the departed soul of late Zillur Rahman. After placing wreaths, Awami League Joint General Secretary Advocate Jahangir Gobind Nanok told the newsman that the role of Zillur Rahman was very important to restore democracy at 111 period and during the Liberation War. Nazmul Hasan Papun MP, the son of Zillur Rahman, was present. He said that his father loved the country and its people. Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Deepu Moni said that Muhammad Zillur Rahman was the symbol of holiness in the field of politics. Dhaka City Awami League North and South, Mohila Awami League, Awami Jubo League Dhaka City North and South, Jatiyo Shromik League, Zillur Rahman Sriti Sangshad and different social and cultural organizations also placed wreaths at the graveyard of Zillur Rahman. A Milad and Dua Mahfil was held on the occasion of death anniversary of former President Zillur Rahman at his Gulshan residence today. Son of former President Nazmul Hasan MP and other members of his family, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shahriar Alam, Information Secretary Abdul Malik, leaders from various social, cultural and political organizations were present. Later, special munazat was offered, seeking blessing for the departed soul. The ninth span of the 6.15 kilometer long Podda Bridge will be installed on 34th and 35th pillar at Zazira End in Shoriatpur district tomorrow. With installation of the ninth span, 1,200 meter of the main structure of this mega bridge will become visible at Zazira Point, while 150 meter is already visible at Mawa Point. A total of 41 spans will be installed on 42 concrete pillars to complete the bridge.
Now international news. A father and son from Syria have been buried in New Zealand, the first funerals for the 50 victims last week's mosque shootings. Khalid Mustafa and his son Hamza came as refugees to New Zealand last year. Islamic tradition calls for bodies to be buried as soon as possible, but the funerals have been delayed by the scale of identification process. Hundreds of mournees gathered at the cemetery near the Linwood Islamic Center in Christchurch on Wednesday, one of the two places of worship targeted in last Friday's attacks. Australian Brenton Tarrant, 28, a self-described white supremacist, has been charged with murder. Meanwhile, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has urged the world leaders to work unitedly to make accountable the social media for the contents they facilitate. Cyclone winds and floods that swept across southeastern Africa have affected more than 2.6 million people and could rank as one of the worst weather-related disasters recorded in the southern hemisphere. Rescue crews were still struggling to reach victims on Wednesday, 6 days after Cyclone Idai raced in at speeds of up to 170 km per hour from the Indian Ocean into Mozambique, then its inland neighbors Zimbabwe and Malawi. Aid groups said many survivors were trapped, clinging to trees and crammed on rooftops in remote areas, surrounded by wrecked roads, flattened buildings and submerged villages. Death toll in the flood disaster has crossed 200 in Mozambique, according to President Philip Nyusi. Nursultan Nazarbayev, the last Soviet-era political heavyweight who was elected president of oil-rich Kazakhstan 5 times in widely criticized votes, voluntarily stepped down after almost 30 years in power. He said he would still head the ruling Nur halls of power. Nazarbayev said Senate Speaker and former Prime Minister Kassym-Jomart Tokayev would be acting president before the next presidential vote. Meanwhile, Kazakhstan has renamed its capital Astana to Nur Sultan to honor outgoing leader Nur Sultan Nazarbayev. The change was announced after Kassym-Jomart Tokayev was sworn in as president.
More from national news. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi has said more Japanese investment would expedite the development of Bangladesh. The minister said this at the plenary session titled Doing Business with Japan over the 15th Basis Soft Expo 2019 held at International Convention City, Bosundhara in Dhaka today. Chairman of Japan Development Institute, Shoichi Kobayashi, presented the keynote at the session. Among others, Chairman of Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Qazi Aminul Islam, Chairman of Japan-Bangladesh Society, Matsushiro Hoikuchi, and General Secretary of Japan-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Tariq Al-Rafi Bhuiya, also spoke. The Commerce Minister said the government has decided to look at a big economic zone to Japan as 100 special economic zones are being developed at the initiative of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The United States is keen to invest in the maritime sector of Bangladesh. The U.S. Ambassador in Dhaka, Earl Robert Miller, came up with the willingness at a meeting with the State Minister for Shipping, Khalid Mahmood Chowdhury, at his office at the Secretariat today. During the meeting, they discussed the issues related to bilateral interest, the activities and security of Chattogram Seaport, and the works of Mongla Port, Paira Port, and Matarbari Deep Sea Port. Later, Khalid Mahmood Chowdhury presented a copy of the unfinished memoirs, the autobiography by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, to the U.S. envoy. Now, news on weather. Weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow says rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty or squally wind is likely to occur at 1 or 2 places over Khulna, Borishal, Dhaka, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions, with hails at isolated places. Weather may remain mainly dry with a temporary partly cloudy sky elsewhere over the country. Night and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country. Today's maximum temperature was recorded 34.6 degrees Celsius at Chuadanga and minimum 16.1 degrees Celsius at Dinajpur.
Now news on sports. Bangladesh lost to India by 4 goals to 0 in the second semi-final of the SAF Women Football Championship 2019 at Shohid Rangoshala Stadium in Viratnagar, Nepal today. Indumoti Kathirasan scored a brace goal, while Dalima Chiber and Manisha scored 1 goal each for India. Earlier, Nepal beat Sri Lanka by 4 goals to 0 in the first semi-final at the same venue. Nepal will face India in the final match of the tournament on March 22. To end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government takes initiatives to celebrate birth centenary of Father of the Nation at grassroots level for inspiring countrymen with true history and spirit of liberation war, says Prime Minister. High Court asks Shuprabhat Poribahon to give 10 lakh taka compensation to Abrar's family within 7 days. Students' sit-in program postponed. 6th death anniversary of former President Zillur Rahman observed today through various programs. Bypass surgery of Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir successful in Singapore. 6 prayers of countrymen. 1.5 kilometer of Podna Bridge will be visible tomorrow, following installation of the 9th span of the bridge. Funeral of victims of Christchurch mosque terrorist attack begins. New Zealand's Prime Minister urges to take steps about risks of social media. And Bangladesh lost to India by 4-0 in the semi-final of SAF Women Championship.
And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us and invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.